It's now time to travel to Anokhe Rang. The great maestro behind Anokhe Rang is Dr. Krishan Chhabra. Dr. Chhabra says, is common sense really common sense? I don't really know. Let's see what he has to say about this.
Hello, I'm Dr. Krishan Chhabra and welcome to Anokhe Rang. Today's topic is common sense really common? We all have an idea of what common sense is. According to Merriam-Webster, common sense is about exercising sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of the situation or facts. And according to Josh Billings, common sense is the knack of seeing things as they are and doing things as they ought to be done. Is common sense important? Yes, very much. To quote Thomas Edison, the three great essentials to achieve anything worthwhile are: first, hard work; second, stick-to-itiveness; and third, common sense. Is common sense really common? In the words of Voltaire, common sense is not so common. And Horace Greeley said, common sense is very uncommon. Translation: common sense is common, but not always. It is the degree of uncommonness that is open to questions. I would like to share a story that I had read in the newspaper. A person went to a bank and met with the manager in his private office for a job interview. All of a sudden, during the interview, he pulled out his gun, pointed to the manager and said in a very soft voice, "Just hand me over that bag of money behind you, and don't dare to make any move, otherwise you will be dead." The manager very calmly gave the bag to the man, who grabbed it and quickly sped away in a car waiting outside for him. The manager just smiled because the man had left his resume on the table and it has his address and phone number. Oh well. There are many books on the subject of common sense. From a historic perspective, here is the book form of a pamphlet titled Common Sense that was written by Thomas Paine, but he published it anonymously on January 10, 1776, and written by an Englishman. The pamphlet became an enormous success and was widely read as it strongly encouraged independence of American colonies from the British rule. Another book titled The Death of Common Sense: How Law is Suffocating America, written by Philip K. Howard, was first published in 1994. The author provides interesting examples of how America is drowning in law, lawsuits, and nearly endless red tape, and suggests how the people and the country can get back on track. My favorite book is titled The Death of Common Sense and Profiles of Those Who Knew Him by Laurie Borgman, published in 2012. It includes a very interesting and creative article on the obituary of common sense, first published in the Indianapolis Star in March of 1998. In the article, common sense is profiled as C.S., and his life is described from his childhood to his demise and the kind of senseless and idiotic regulations he could not endure during his life. Interestingly, since its first publication, articles titled as The Death of Common Sense and Obituary have been written and published in the newspaper all around the globe, including London Times, with minor variations and mostly cited as anonymous. In the obituary, C.S. is described to live by simple, sound financial policies such as don't spend more than what you can earn, and reliable strategies like adults and not the children are in charge. But his health began to deteriorate rapidly when well-intentioned but overbearing regulations were set in place. For example, teens suspended from school for using mouthwash after lunch, or when schools were required to get parental consent to administer sun lotion or an aspirin to a student, but could not inform parents when a student became pregnant and wanted to have an abortion. And then there was this well-published news that you could not defend yourself from a burglar in your own home, and the burglar could sue you for an assault. On hearing the news, C.S. gave up his will to live and breathed his last. May his soul rest in peace. C.S. was preceded in death by his wife, Discretion, and he is survived by his daughter, Responsibility, his son, Reason, and two stepbrothers, Halfwit and Dimwit. Well, quite an interesting and thought-provoking essay. Can common sense be developed? Yes, it can. How can we make sure what we do makes sense in light of the deeply rooted idiotic policies and the ever-present fear of lawsuits? One key way is by thinking carefully before taking an action. Think about the pros and cons of the action you are about to take, and that applies to all, whether you are an individual, entity, an organization, or a government. Actions have consequences. As we sow, so shall we reap. When we finally link actions with consequences, we will be able to see the positive and long-term benefits, unlike what we mostly see today. Actions without much thought leading to negative and harmful outcome. Slowly but surely, and with more experience, it will become a habit to think carefully, weigh the consequences, and take a positive action. And with that, common sense will become more common and it will start to make a lot of sense. Hope you enjoyed the Labor Day early this month. Please join me again next month for another segment of Anokhe Rang. Namaskar.